Let's talk about power. It's a concept that fascinates and frightens us, a force that shapes our world in profound ways. We see it in politics, in business, and even in our personal relationships. Who has it, who wants it, and how do they get it? The pursuit of power is a constant game, with players vying for control and influence. And who, according to internet lore, secretly runs America from a gold-plated panic room, pulling the strings from behind the scenes. It's a tantalizing thought, a hidden hand guiding the nation's destiny. The idea that a single family controls 330 million people sounds like a bad action movie, complete with secret meetings and dramatic betrayals. But for many, it's a deeply held belief, a conviction that there's more to the story than meets the eye. They see patterns, connections, and hidden agendas that point to a single, powerful source. They picture a shadowy dynasty, a lineage of influence passed down through generations, operating in the shadows and manipulating events to their advantage. Pulling presidential strings, dictating policy, and shaping the course of history from behind the scenes. Crashing economies, manipulating markets, and amassing unimaginable wealth through calculated moves. And deciding what you see on TV, controlling the narrative and shaping public opinion to maintain their grip on power. This theory is seductive, offering a simple explanation for complex problems and a clear target for blame. It makes chaos seem planned, democracy a stage play with every action carefully scripted and every player assigned their role. And the real rulers, hidden behind the curtain, pulling the strings and orchestrating the performance for their own amusement and gain. It's easier to blame a secret cabal, a shadowy group of elites, than to confront the messy realities of the world, then accept that the world is just messy and unfair, a complex web of competing interests and unintended consequences. These ideas aren't new. The fear of hidden power and secret societies has been around for centuries, but the internet has supercharged them, allowing these theories to spread like wildfire and reach a global audience. Spreading tales of powerful families with tentacles in everything, their influence reaching into every corner of society. But is there any truth to it? Is there a hidden hand guiding the course of events? Or are we simply seeing patterns where none exist? Or is it just the ultimate ghost story, a modern-day myth that reflects our anxieties and fears about power and control? Tonight we'll dive into the families accused of being America's hidden rulers, the names whispered in hushed tones and the legends that surround them. Examine the evidence, separate fact from fiction, and explore how power really works in America, from the halls of government to the boardrooms of corporations. Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy, slightly paranoid ride. We're going down the rabbit hole. Ask who runs the world and you'll hear a few familiar names. The Rockefellers' oil barons turned conspiracy legends accused of funding wars and shaping global events. The Rothschilds' European banking dynasty, targets of centuries-old anti-Semitic tropes, rumored to control central banks and profit from wars. The Waltons' Walmart's founders, wielding economic power that shapes local economies and labor practices. Theories about them focus less on secret societies and more on economic dominance. Supporting cast? The Morgans, DuPonts, Bushes, each with their own legacy and accusations. These stories exaggerate real influence, turning wealthy families into mythical puppet masters. But is their power truly as vast as the legends suggest? Or are they just very rich people in a system that rewards wealth? Let's separate fact from fiction. According to conspiracy theories, the plan is simple. A blueprint for total control, meticulously crafted and ruthlessly executed. It's a narrative that paints a picture of a world manipulated from behind the scenes, where power resides not in elected officials but in the hands of a select few. Control the banks, the government, and the media. These are the three pillars upon which this alleged shadow government builds its empire. Each institution, a vital organ in the body politic, is supposedly compromised, serving the interests of the elite rather than the people. First, the banks, the lifeblood of the modern economy. Control the Federal Reserve, control the economy. By manipulating interest rates, controlling the money supply, and influencing financial policy, they allegedly steer the economic ship towards their desired destination. Print money, trigger recessions, and keep nations in debt. This creates a cycle of dependency, where governments and individuals alike are beholden to the financial institutions that hold the purse strings. Second, politics. The arena where decisions are made that affect us all. Democracy is just for show. A carefully constructed illusion designed to give the public the impression of choice and control. The real rulers buy both sides, fund campaigns, and place loyalists in key positions. This ensures that no matter who wins the election, the agenda of the elite remains firmly in place. Third, the media, the gatekeepers of information, own the news, shape public opinion, distract with entertainment, and bury inconvenient truths. By controlling the narrative, they control the perception of reality itself. The result? A family that prints money, buys politicians, and pacifies the public. A self-perpetuating cycle of power. Every injustice, every war, every stagnant policy is blamed on this hidden hand. Why is the gap between rich and poor so wide? The family designed it. Why are we always at war? It's profitable for them. Why does nothing change? Because they don't want it to. But does this theory hold up, or is it just a convenient scapegoat for complex problems? Time for a reality check. The Rockefellers were once powerful, but their fortune is now spread thin, their influence mostly through philanthropy. The Rothschilds? Their power peaked in the 1800s. They don't own the Federal Reserve, and their banks aren't even the world's largest today. The myth of their omnipotence is far greater than their actual clout. The Waltons? Walmart's influence is real. Millions spent on lobbying, shaping labor and trade policy. But they're just one player among many. These theories take a kernel of truth and stretch it into fantasy. Yes, powerful families exist and use money to influence politics. But the idea of a single, coordinated family running everything? There's no evidence. Power in America is messy, competitive, and transactional. Not a Bond villain's lair. The real story is less organized conspiracy, more disorganized greed. So, what's actually going on? If you were to ask various experts whether a single family truly runs America, pulling all the strings from behind the scenes, you'll almost certainly get a firm no, a resounding denial of such a notion. But the reality, as is often the case, is far more complicated than a simple yes or no. America, in many ways, functions as a civil oligarchy. It's not a nation directly ruled by one specific family, but rather by a powerful class of ultra-wealthy individuals and corporations, all fiercely defending their own vested interests and bottom lines. Throughout history, these wealthy families and powerful entities have often been fierce rivals, constantly competing against each other, rather than operating as a unified cabal with a singular agenda. The landscape of power is constantly shifting, with fortunes rising and falling like the tides, and the real story that emerges is one of constant conflict and competition, not some kind of secret, harmonious cooperation. As modern investigative journalism consistently reveals, the biggest and most influential players in this game aren't necessarily individual families, but rather entire industries. Think of the pharmaceutical industry, the fossil fuel industry, the titans of Wall Street, the ever-expanding tech sector, all spending hundreds of millions of dollars each year to actively shape policy and influence political outcomes. Of course, wealthy families are undoubtedly a part of this complex equation, wielding significant influence, but they're ultimately just one piece, albeit a significant one, of a much larger and more intricate machine. The fundamental problem we face isn't some secret dynasty pulling the strings from the shadows, it's the very system itself, where the accumulation of vast amounts of money directly translates into political power and influence. The notion of a single family controlling everything is, in essence, a myth, a convenient oversimplification. But this myth, like many others, points to a very real and pressing issue: the fact that economic elites and powerful business interests, through lobbying and campaign contributions, disproportionately steer policy, often at the expense of average Americans. Power is indeed concentrated in the hands of a few, but not in the way that conspiracy theorists might have you believe, with shadowy figures orchestrating events from hidden lairs. The truth is far more systemic and deeply ingrained in our institutions, rather than some cinematic plot ripped from the pages of a thriller novel. So how does power really work in America? Money is the megaphone. Thanks to Citizens United super PACs can spend unlimited cash to shape elections. Lobbyists, over 12,000 of them, work the halls of Congress writing bills and shaping regulations for their clients. Old wealth and elite networks matter, too. Shared schools, clubs, and boardrooms create a powerful consensus among the ruling class. It's not a formal conspiracy but a shared worldview that shapes policy. Corporations like Amazon, Google, and ExxonMobil wield budgets bigger than countries influencing everything from jobs to technology. The real power structure is a tangled web of corporations, industries, and wealthy elites all jockeying for influence. It's not a pyramid with one family at the top, it's an ecosystem. Influence is mundane, bureaucratic, and legal, not cinematic or secret. The system works for the powerful, by design. Let's separate myth from reality. The myth: a single family controls everything, orchestrating wars and crises with absolute power. It's a simple story with a clear villain, offering comfort in chaos. The reality: power is diffuse, decentralized, and fiercely contested. Corporations, industries, billionaires, and lobbyists all compete for influence. No one's pulling all the strings. Influence happens through think tanks, campaign funding, and lobbying, not secret orders. The system is designed to amplify the voices of the wealthy, not ordinary citizens. Focusing on a phantom enemy distracts from the real, legal ways wealth distorts democracy. The problem isn't a secret cabal, it's a system that openly favors the powerful. The truth is right in front of us. So who are the real influencers? Think bigger than one family. The Koch brothers built a conservative political machine, organizing wealthy donors to shape policy. Billionaires like George Soros and the late Sheldon Adelson pour money into politics to advance their own visions. These aren't dynasties. They're activist billionaires funding movements and parties. The real power lies in entire industries. Silicon Valley tech giants, Wall Street banks, and big pharma spend billions lobbying for favorable laws. Their collective influence dwarfs any single family. The real influencers are a diverse, competing group: corporations, networks, and industries. Power in America is more Game of Thrones than monarchy. Many factions, endless maneuvering. The problem isn't one family, it's a wealthy class with outsized influence. That's the real story. Why do secret family stories persist? Because our brains crave simple explanations for a chaotic world. Conspiracy theories offer clarity and a villain, replacing anxiety with certainty. They tap into America's suspicion of concentrated power and the fear that the game is rigged. These stories also provide a sense of empowerment. Knowing the truth makes people feel special and in control. Sharing these theories builds community among the disillusioned. Ultimately, belief in hidden rulers reflects a loss of faith in American democracy. When people see billionaires thriving while they struggle, it's easy to believe someone else is pulling the strings. The conspiracy is a desperate attempt to explain a system that feels unfair and unaccountable. It's not just about a secret family. It's about losing faith in the American project itself.